All right, welcome to the second part of this video on Nystrom World. And this particular video is going to focus on the researcher section of Nystrom World. As I talked about in maybe some of the other videos, if you've watched, the Explorer is something that can be purchased separately and it can also be purchased with the hands-on mapping programs. The researcher today is another component that can be purchased separately as well. The researcher is actually included with the purchase of an Atlas pack. So if you buy an Atlas pack that comes with the small binder with student activities and the 30 atlases, you will get the researcher digital access as well for a period of time. Same thing with the Explorer, that comes with the mapping hands-on programs that has the fold-out desk maps, it has the teacher's guide binder, and it has 30 of the atlases, markers, and other components there with that. So that's separate from this, but today we're going to focus on the researcher. So let's take a look now at what's included when you purchase the researcher. This can be purchased as a site license where every teacher in the school gets access to the digital atlas and the activities that go along with it. And again, it can also be purchased with an atlas pack where it comes as part of that atlas pack. So let's take a look at some of the different atlases that are available in here. And I'm going to focus for today mostly on secondary atlases. So the Atlas of United States History is perfect for both middle school and high school classrooms because it's so visual in nature and it covers the content from early pre-settlement all the way up through modern times. It will cover the era of U.S. history that you need. Same thing with the Atlas of World History, great for both middle school and high school classrooms, covering from ancient times all the way through modern world history. Next would be the Desk Atlas. This would be most appropriate for more rigorous geography type classrooms in middle school, but mostly for high school as well. But if you do have a geography class that's real heavy in middle school that's really focused on geography, then the Desk Atlas might be your go-to. But you also have the option of the World Atlas. This is the one that we recommend for middle school. Really, like sixth grade would be a good landing point for this one. Maybe even seventh grade as well. But you may even choose to upgrade to the Desk Atlas instead. For those of you in Texas, we have the Atlas of Texas History right here. And this has activities that goes along with it as well. That's brand new. And so is this Atlas of World History. They're both the newest Atlas editions. For elementary, I will just kind of touch on a couple of these. We do have the fifth grade Atlas of our country's history, and then kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade down here with the Jumbo, Block Buddy, Nystronaut, and Map Champ. And then the Junior Geographer Atlas is a great one for fourth, but I've seen a lot of people use it in both fourth and fifth grade if they're studying regions of the United States and basic geographic concepts. As you notice, we also have a lot of the atlases available in Spanish as well. But for today, I'm going to focus just on this top row right here and touch briefly on the Atlas of Texas History. So let's take a look. Once you are in the researcher and you click on the researcher from the homepage, you will have access to whatever atlas that you have purchased access to. So let's just take a look at the Atlas of World History. This is just a good example here since all of these 5 atlases that I'm sharing with you today are all aligned the same way in terms of how they are laid out. So you'll have 3 different options when you click on your atlas. You will have the Atlas Flipbook, you will have the interactive activities, and you will have the downloaded activities. So if you purchased the Atlas pack, it would have come with a set of 30 of these atlases right here, and it would have also come with a binder with some printable and reproducible student activities. Their worksheets really essentially is what they are. They help the students really work through the pages in the atlas and help them make sense of it. It's more comprehension focused, whereas something that doesn't necessarily come in print are these interactive activities here. These are much more increasing depth of knowledge. They start out with like low level depth of knowledge, level 1s, 2s, and then progress up to level 3. With depth of knowledge on that. So let's take a look at what our options are. I'm going to start with the flipbook. So let's click there on the flipbook. Okay, so as this loads in, you will see that it's just a standard ebook. So you can zoom in on the pages, you can zoom out just by double clicking on it or rolling your scroll button on your mouse in and out. You can also go to specific pages, like if you know you want to go to page 63, you can type in page 63 and it will take you right there. This is one of the great new features of the World History Atlas. Something similar to this is also available in the new Desk Atlas. These are issues today. And so, what the historical atlas does is it takes some historical concepts and events that took place and then connects it to some of the modern day issues that we are still currently facing. So, this one is how should a culture be to outside influences? And so over here on the right hand side of the screen, I like these because they provide two kind of differing viewpoints on how countries may want to deal with it, and it gives some nice bullet points of kind of supporting evidence for each one of those and those viewpoints. So it just provides kids with a nice diverse perspective so they can get a couple of different ideas on why people or why societies might feel a certain way. So that's how you navigate through it. And you can click the little left and right buttons to zoom, and you can zoom in on all the pages right there. You can also look for specific words up here. Like, let's say you are looking for Constantinople. You can type in Constantinople, and it'll pull up over here on the left hand side everywhere where Constantinople is referenced throughout the atlas. When you click on it, it will take you directly to that page right here. And so that's how you navigate through those. All right. So that is pretty much it for the flipbook. The Atlas, it's really just a standard ebook for you guys to flip through the different pages and take a look at, be able to zoom in on some of these different maps. I don't know about you guys, but I love the Nystrom atlases. I use these in my classroom. I used both the junior geographer and the U.S. history, the old versions of both of those, in my classroom back when I was in the classroom, and I absolutely love these. It really helps kids get a better picture of certain eras, certain time periods right here. So like this one, notice that there are two-page spreads. This whole two-page spread deals with civilization in ancient Mesopotamia. And they're all laid out pretty much the same way, where there's a two-page spread with lots of visual support, some small text, lots of graphics, maybe some primary source documents that all help to really explain this topic right here. So that's pretty much it for the flip book. Now let's go back. I'm just going to click the back button and go back here. I'm going to come back to these interactivities, and I'm going to go straight to the download activities. So with this one, when you click on it, it downloads as a zip file. And when you open this up right here, it's going to open up in a folder. And in this folder, you can see it has without answers and with answers, all of the different activities right here for you. So if we open this one here, activity 15, you can see the format. This is something that you can print out and give out to your students, or you can embed this. As long as you have a valid license, you can put this into like your Google Classroom or something like that. Once your license is expired for the Atlas, you want to remove any connections there to it unless you do renew your license with it, which we hope you do. I think you guys are going to find there's a lot of really cool stuff here too with the digital that's way beyond what's just available in the print. So that's it for the downloadable activities. There's really not a whole lot to those. It just has the printable PDFs that you guys are used to from the teacher binder. But what's new about this digital side of things are these interactive activities. And these are so cool. Let's take a look at how these are laid out. So notice they're all level 2. This is actually connected to another digital program we have called Active Classroom, where we have options of level 1s and level 2s. Level 1s are really like what you guys saw in the downloadable activities there. They're kind of taken from those worksheets. Whereas these ones are a little bit more advanced. So right here, let's take a look at ancient Mesopotamia. So you notice there's 14 pages of activities. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 activities per page. So you're looking at about 60 or so of these activities that you can pull from, or 70 of these. So let's take a look at what one of these looks like. When you go into the interactive activity, you're going to be in teacher mode. You can switch to student mode by clicking hide answers. And so this is going to show us the interactivity here with this. And so the students are used to ask this visual here. Notice I brought it to full screen by clicking on this button right here. And we can take a look at this here, the Fertile Crescent in Mesopotamia. And we can answer true and false over here. I'm just going to randomly select them and mark them up that way and go through. In this next one, they have to use a reading passage over here on the left-hand side. So there's a reading passage as well as a visual. Now, let's say you have students that struggle with reading. One of the cool aspects of this Nystrom World is we've embedded into this the ability to have it read to the students as well as to have it translate into about 30 different languages. So I'm going to select this here and I'm going to click over here and you see how it reads for the student. And I'm not sure if the audio is coming through. But if it is, then you would actually hear it speaking to the student. It's highlighting the word as it's reading. You also have the ability, as I mentioned, to translate into multiple languages. So you can select some text and you can click on the little globe button. And it looks like I had it set to Vietnamese. It defaults, I believe, to Spanish. And a lot of the languages will actually read to them in their native language. Unfortunately, Vietnamese, it does not. But I know Spanish and Arabic and one of the forms of Chinese it does as well. You can also select specific words to get more information. So I'm going to select the word language, and I'm going to click on the picture dictionary right here. And you can see it gives us an idea of what language is. If the kid's still not clear, they can click on the dictionary, and it'll even read to them in the dictionary as well. A style of speech. Okay, so those are the extra tools, and that's all right up here in the little speaker box. You will notice there's a gear button right here. This is settings. When you click on this, it allows you to change the way it's being read to you to slow, medium, or fast. You can also change the translation right here into all of these different languages. So quite a few different languages for you to choose from. I'm just going to go back to Spanish there and save it. All right. So in this one, the students are going to be doing some dragging and dropping. You'll notice that the activities kind of vary a little bit. You may find quite a few of these true and false, and the multiple select types of questions here. Let's see, they're going to analyze these and determine which of the following statements best explains. And so I'm just going to go ahead and select that. And now if I were in a student account, there would actually be a button here that would say turn in assignment. And that's how the students turn it into you. And it's really, really pretty simple there. So that is kind of a quick overview of those interactive activities. I'm going to show you, maybe I'm just going to jump ahead to one of these further ones. And we'll just take a quick look and see if we have any different types of activities here. Another true and false. This one here, they're having to sequence events. And so they're going to have to drag and drop some of these here. So that's another type of activity. Let's take a look and see if there's another. There's a lot of different things, like they may have to build a graph. This one here, they're dragging and dropping. They may have some drop-down menus. Sometimes there are multiple questions here. This one's multiple selects. There are multiple answers to it. And so you'll find just a lot of different types of questions and activities. Sometimes the students will have to actually record their voice. This one here, you can see they're building a bar graph. And this one here is a multiple select. Well, I don't want to keep jumping through to find them, but there are some where the students actually do writing responses as well as recording their voice and speaking back into it. All right, so now that you have this, you're probably wondering to yourself, great, so my students will get these activities and it will auto grade for them. So that's a nice component. It grades anything that's multiple choice and true and false, anything that is short answer or any of the written responses or vocal responses or any of the bar graphs, you will have to do a little bit of grading with that. But let's take a look now. I'm going to jump into my student account real quick, or into my regular teacher account. And you can see here that I've got my Manage Students button. So this allows you to edit your classes. Now, I should have probably started with this in the beginning, but I did touch on this in another video, so I'm going to talk about this real quickly. Setting up your classes is very, very simple to do. Simply click on New Student Class and give it a name and hit Save. And that's all you have to do. Once you've done that, you can easily add your students by clicking on the word Students. And right here, This allows them to register themselves. Give them this one-time registration link, copy and paste that into your Google Classroom, Canvas, or whatever for the students to click on. They register themselves and they're done and they're in right off the bat. So it's very, very, very simple to get students into this. We do offer for district purchases, we do offer things like rostering and single sign-on. So that's another option as well through like ClassLink or Clever, or, you know, lots of different options there, Canvas. So lots of different ways that you can interact with it, but that's how you set it up. So you may also be asking to yourself, well, where are the grades? How do I grade these? And my account may look a little bit different here. Let me try to find an example for you. And here we go. So I've got some different ones from other activities here, but you can see I can launch the activity here. I can grade the activity here. And if you want to embed a link, let's say you're using Canvas or Schoology or It's Learning, which is like the hub, you can grab this link and you can copy and paste it into those. And there's even an explanation here in the top at this little question mark right here that explains LTI instructions, how to embed those into Canvas, It's Learning, and Schoology. So you may find those to be pretty helpful. Going back to my question here, if I want to grade something, you can click on the little grading button and you can select your students over here and you can take a look and see what work they've done. And so it'll pull up all that information. These assignments haven't been turned in yet, so that's why there's no grading option here for me just yet. But this is where you would grade the students. And then once you publish the grades, you'll do that here through the gradebook. So over here in the gradebook, you will see this allows you to publish the grades once they have all been graded. Some of the cool things that you can do, I'm going to show you an example from something else that I know has been graded. Let me jump to that right here to show you what it looks like in grading format. This allows you to filter by students that have turned it in, not turned it in, graded, and not graded. So when you click on the drop-down menu, I love the way this is set up because the little green box lets you know that the student has turned it in. The little blue box lets you know that you have completed grading it. And so you can see these two students right here, or these three students, they've turned it in, but they haven't yet been graded. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So when I click on this student, once it loads in here, let's see here, did I select that? There we go. And so I've got the student here. I can assign them a grade. I can mark them correct. I can give them feedback, or I can give them a new attempt. So if they did everything wrong and incorrectly, it gives them a 0, and I can give them a new attempt right here. So it's really pretty simple to do. And then you'll notice that that student's name has changed, and they now have a graded button there as well. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple to use this gradebook. And if you have any further questions, you can always email me, jason@socialstudies.com. All right, so I'm going to go back. Last thing I'm going to talk about here is how to assign an activity because your students will not see those activities until you assign them. So what you'll want to do here is, let's take a look at one of these desk atlas ones here and go to the interactive activities. And I'm just going to jump ahead to one of these here. And I'm going to select this one, Human Geography. You have the ability to view it or assign it. You click on this little assign button. You can set a due date, an unlock date. I recommend you set it to percentage. And right here, select which periods or which classes you want to assign them to. Give the students instructions. For this, there's really not going to be a whole lot of the custom highlight usage for these interactive activities. That's more for the mapping activities where they're having to do some more reading. But you can assign these custom highlights if you think it's going to help maybe your special ed students or something like that. So that's there. And then when you hit the save assignment, it gives you a well done, and it gives you that same LTI link that I showed you earlier that lives in your gradebook. So you'll copy and paste that into your Canvas, Schoology, or It's Learning. All right. So I've pretty much come to the end of this researcher here. The other couple things here, I just wanted to show you that the U.S. History Atlas, the World Atlas, and the Texas History Atlas are all the same in terms of the interactive activities, flipbook, and downloadable activities. All right, thank you guys so much for joining. I will be doing another session, the last session of this, talking about the geographer for this next section here. So thank you guys so much for joining, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.